This sat on the shelf for years to the point that I didn't know what to do with it. I thought, oh my gosh, I've been interviewing people for years. I'm sitting on a wonderful amount of something, but what do I do with it now? Sometimes we practice perseverance. We don't give up. So as a result of going to the Global Media Summit last year, I met the people from Roaring Lambs Ministries and Donna Skell, and we are like-minded people, so my husband and I scheduled a meeting to go back to meet with them to talk about how we could work together later. We go to lunch. I'm sitting next to Frank Ball, who is their writing specialist. This man teaches writing across the country, beyond the country. He is like a boss of editing, writing, and all the rules about that. So I thought, well, what can it hurt? I'll just throw it out there. I'll tell him about my book and see what he has to say about it. So I tell him about it. I said, Frank, let me just tell you, I'm sitting on these interviews that I've been doing now for literally 20 years. Some very well-known people, some very accomplished people. I said, I don't know what to do with it because some of them aren't even alive anymore. And the ones that are, their life has changed a lot. So he looks at me and he says, Beth, you don't write about them. You write about how they changed you. He said, you don't write about their story. You write about how they changed your story. And it's about the time of life that you went and met them. And you don't call it people with passion. You call it life on purpose. Because God has been sending you to all these people for all these years so that now you can write the book. And then they agreed to publish the book. I could not have made that happen. I could not have made that happen. So now I'm working on the book called Life on Purpose with a publisher and with a guy who knows everything that any question that I could have, he can answer. I'm like, okay. So perseverance. We practice perseverance. There are times we have to wait on God. There are times we have to wait on God until He clearly says now. Because He clearly said not now to me for a long time. But then He said now. And then finally, what we practice is very personal with God is our 1 Peter 3:15. And in your hearts set aside Christ as Lord and always be prepared to share the hope that you have. The testimony of your life, the testimony of my life is an answered prayer to somebody. But here's the thing, always is a always. There's not a, oh, I'm scared to say something because what if they think I'm crazy? Nope, always is always. But it says prepared. That means we do something to prepare. That means we get ready to share our story. So that means we practice it, we write it, we share it with others. But our story is the answer to someone else's question. It's also the answer to someone else's prayer. It could be that divine connection that could be a changing point for somebody's life.